Hey, Indy News on the street here, coming at you live on the near west side of Indianapolis. We're in a huge, long line. It may be a mile or more long. I think we've got a little less than a mile to go to get shots for our dogs. Indianapolis Humane Society and some other organizations are doing free vaccinations, rabies, parvo, and whatever else the dogs need on an annual basis. And we're in line, a long line. We've been in line for the better part of an hour, and we're still in line. It's a drive-through thing, and we're just going to wait and see what happens. And we've got two dogs to take through. We've got Lizzie, the wonder dog, my service dog, and Obi, our pet, and they are in the back. My dogs are in the back. We're just waiting to see who's there. I'd like to, if you'll comment, whatever, let know who you are. I see somebody's in here. We're here on the west side. We're on Michigan Street on the west side, trying to get to Holmes, and we're in the 3300 block of Michigan Street, heading toward Holmes to get free shots for the dogs. If anybody needs to get your rabies and all your annual shots for your dogs, you can bring them on out here on the near west side of Indianapolis on Holmes Street, just south of Michigan. We waited in line coming from the east for a while, and then realized that we had to come all the way back down this way and turn around, and because the line was coming from this side. So it's a long line, but free is a very good price. I did notice there were some IMPD officers there at the facility, so it'll be interesting to see. They're just trying to do crowd control and traffic control, although this traffic control is not going very well. So that's what's going on here. Smash that like button, give me a thumbs up. If you've got dogs and you're in the Indy area and you need to get your annual shots, it's free today on Holmes, just south of Washington Street. It's going to take a while to get there, no matter how close you are. So right now we're at Moreland and Michigan, and we need to get all the way to Holmes, and it is a long way. So we're just hanging out. If you got any comments, questions, whatever, be glad to talk to you on here. I'm not sure if I can. I'm having trouble seeing that. Here we go. Find the question. I'm going to pull up the live feed on my other phone so I can see what any questions there may be, comments, because I'm not seeing them show up on here. Maybe we're hanging out. We're Indianapolis, Marion County is under the mask, so everybody has to have a mask on if you're out in public. Now we're in the vehicle, so we're okay. But if you're out and you're not able to be social distance, if you're inside in any kind of public place, you have to have your mask on if you want to comply with the onerous government overreach of Mayor Hogsett and the Marion County Health Department. If you don't care about that, well then you can have them ticket you and fine you for however much it is. I've heard all kind of rumors how much the fines are going to be, and you can try to fight that in court. More power to you. I hope you win. There is an exemption for medical conditions. My wife has really bad asthma, so it's probably not a good idea for her to wear one for very long, and I've got some medical issues myself, so we'll let the court sort that out, I suppose. I don't think there's a problem if people want to wear a mask, but I do think there's a problem with the government mandating it. That's just me. That's my personal opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own. Okay, I'm getting ready to come up on my... had to restart my phone. Here I am live. Let's see if there's any comments so far. Yeah, looks like there's... Alright. So, it's a beautiful day out. Wish I could be out doing something else besides standing in line or waiting in line in the car. Swing out here so you can get an idea of just how long this line is. It's pretty long. Pull up on the map and see kind of where we are. The address is 456 North Holmes Street, and it's about a half a mile. It's 10 minutes if you're walking, but right now if you're driving, it's a lot longer than that. But it's nice to know that we are now within a half a mile of the final destination. We are going at a snail's pace. I am curious to see how my using Prism right now for live streaming and see how that holds up. I've not had a lot of success with these various third-party apps in being able to live stream, but this one seems to be doing as well as any. And like I said, if you're interested in coming out to get your dogs their annual shots, I'd head on out here now. They're going until 4 o'clock, and I'm sure hoping we get there before 4 o'clock. It's 12:27 now.
5.
What's that?
Especially when our daughter works at 5.
Oh, yeah, our daughter works at 5, so, yeah, Mrs. News on the Street is here with me. And I'll get, let's see, Spot Check News. Good morning from the left coast, yeah. Appreciate that. Yeah, we just gotta always be watching. I would love it if IMPD was out here doing something to make this traffic go a little smoother. This actually is moving slower than traffic when you're waiting for the Indianapolis 500 when everything is open. This is crazy. I've been in some stop and go traffic before, but man, this is bad. I guess this is what you guys on the left coast have to live with all the time in traffic in LA and so on. We're spoiled here in Indianapolis because normally we just kind of drive where we want to go, but this is pretty rough. Let's see. Wow. I've been to that Indy 500 traffic before. Yeah, man, it's this is actually worse. It's hard to imagine, but it is actually worse than the Indy 500 traffic right now. So, yeah. Imagine. I've not been to the Bay Area. I've got a brother-in-law who's been there a lot. He actually worked out there for a while, and I house sat for him and my sister when they were out there, and that was several years ago, and they loved it out there. But from what I understand, he's been out there more recently, and it's not as nice as it used to be. So, let's see, this traffic. Yeah, well, I'm a tightwad. And I didn't want to pay, it was going to be, with everything, I don't know how much we're saving on this, but with everything, it was going to be $179 per dog at my vet. That includes some stuff we're still going to have to do. But if we can knock off all of these shots, that'll save us some money. And it gives me some time to spend with my wife. She's really busy, and I've been busy, and this gives us some time to sit and hang out together. And I like spending time with my wife, and so she had some things canceled today, so we're just gonna have a little bit of time together between the yeah, things are getting tough all over. If people were setting out to kill the economy, what they're doing, I'm not sure they would do anything different than what they're doing. This is just the reaction and overreaction to everything going on has been over the top, and it's almost like it's on purpose. The last Thursday, a week ago Thursday, the mayor held a press conference with the Marion County Board of Health. Marion County and Indianapolis, we have the same boundaries. And he held a press conference in which he talked about just how important masks are. And because they're so important, starting in 1 week, which was this Thursday, a couple days ago, everybody has to start wearing masks. Now, if they were that important, why didn't you have to wear a mask until then? Didn't have to wear one for the 4th, but have to wear one then. I've got friends that live real close to the county line, and you go across the county line, and all of a sudden you're safe. But on this side of the county line, you've gotta wear a mask, or else everybody's going to die. And so a lot of people are choosing not to do business here in Marion County in Indianapolis during this time. And where my daughter works, it's a retail food establishment. They are already noticing a drop in business. They started noticing a drop in business once the announcement was made, even before it was in force. People were trying to figure out other places to go besides Marion County.
I also noticed a significant drop in traffic at rush hour.
Yeah.
A trip I normally take every Thursday to the other side of town, traffic was dead, completely dead. There was nothing.
Yeah, so people aren't going around doing things, spending money, keeping the economy going, and it may be the goal, and I don't think this is a Republican and Democrat thing. We've got a Republican governor who's a tyrant, and we've got a Democrat mayor who's a tyrant, and it's just crazy. Very upset with the smokable federally legal hemp is again between illegal Indiana. What is wrong? I've got no idea what's wrong with our elected officials other than their lost souls. As a Christian, I think it's just it all comes back to the sinful nature of mankind, and we are by nature. The Bible tells us that the heart is deceitful and desperately wicked, and I think when you have power, it just makes you desire. You've already got a wicked heart, and now you're put in a position of power, and just lets that power come out, and it lets that wickedness come out in overbearing and tyrannical ways. So that's why our founding fathers created the Constitution. It was to be a restraint on government, and that's he said left. So you're a native Hoosier, and left spot check native Hoosier left here 15 years ago. Yeah. Well, I can understand. You know. I still like it here overall. I've lived other places, but I don't think we're going to find utopia anywhere. That's for sure. No matter where you go, there's problems, and here it's the problems I know rather than the problems I don't know. So, we try to be agents of change. I've seen change for the positive. I don't know if you checked out the video I did with Hoosier News Now doing a First Amendment audit, White River, and the police officers did a good job. Other than they didn't give us the CAD number we requested, and said they were going to and didn't, but that has been requested. Public records have been requested for that, so we'll get the 911 call, find out what was said and why the police were out there in the first place. But the officer handled it well. And a few weeks earlier, I don't think it would have been handled as well as what it was then. So there's been some good change. Oh yeah, you're up in St. Joe area. Oh my goodness, that's Elkhart County. Yeah, that area is really bad. Cap Mossum, Rogue Nation, friend of mine. He's lived up there. Actually, had business up there one time. His wife is a native Hoosier, and spent some time with him when he was in town. But he's got some stories to tell you about the craziness up there, and you can check out his videos from when he was up there during this whole COVID lockdown stuff, and he had some real interesting interactions with the police up there. Man, the sheriff's office up there was really over the top. Yeah, and he kind of had an idea they would be, but he is so cool, man. Captain Awesome, from Rogue Nation, he is as smooth as they come. Nothing ever. So he cracks me up when you can't do that. Oh, you're okay. You're okay. I wish I had his smoothness, man. That guy's great. So what are you up to these days, Spot Check? I need to check and make sure I'm subscribed to your channel. I'm pretty sure I am on one of my accounts, but I need to make sure I am on my main account because I haven't seen your feed. I haven't seen any feed from you anytime recently. So, are you posting anything? Because if not, I need to make sure I'm subscribed to you on my main channel. Here's the lady getting out. She's probably gonna walk back to the gas station and see if she can go to the bathroom.
I already did that.
Yeah, my wife got out a while back, and we hadn't hardly moved during the time she walked to the gas station and at the bathroom and came back. So it's crazy out there. Yeah. Well, I'm at 800 and something subscribers, just over 800 subscribers. I need to get to 1,000. My watch hours are high enough that I can get monetized once the watch hours come in. But I need to get a few more subscribers. So, man, I'd appreciate it if you check out my videos, like, share, and subscribe, and help me get those last couple hundred, 196 subscribers to get monetized. And main thing is, right now I'm using these third-party apps to go live, and as it's kind of not as stable. Let's see, if you do it, film protest. I do a lot of coverage in Oakland, the 3-hour protest stream. Yeah, I'll check that out. I think, I totally missed your coverage. I've checked to watch it. A lot of the coverage is out. That if they see you, wave, throw peace sign. Yeah. Tell them to check me out. I was that first weekend that we had the protests and the riots here in Indianapolis. I wasn't able to get down there, but I was watching 5 different live streams. Some of them were mainstream media. Hoosier News Now. In addition to mainstream media, we had Hoosier News Now and John Speedway, News Now 317, some others. But I was watching watching 5 different live streams simultaneously, and everything was peaceful until suddenly it all broke loose. And even the mainstream media they were shocked that they were getting hit with tear gas, because everybody was peaceful where they were, and all of a sudden they were getting incoming tear gas. And at first, IMPD was trying to deny that happened, and they were saying that, there are people they started, rioting, and that's why we did it. But actually, I think they've come around and have recognized and have had to acknowledge that there was some things happened actually at the City County Council building, or City County building, and when that happened, they started shooting tear gas everywhere, and that's when all the riots came out. And I'm not saying that the rioters were right. They weren't. That wasn't the right response to having tear gas shot at you, but the police amped it up, and they learned from that, and they cut it back down as he is arrested, filming the cops. I've never been arrested for film personally, but I've seen a lot of people get arrested for filming the cops, and it's just over the top crazy. Now, I used to be a police officer, and I support the police when they do right, but I will call them out when they're doing wrong. And the biggest problem I see today is that we've got good police officers who would never violate your rights, and we've got bad police officers who would without giving it a second thought. But most police officers fit in this middle category where they're not so good or not so bad. They wouldn't do it themselves, but they would back up an officer who's violating your rights and knows that they are, but they will still stand behind that thin blue line, which is, frankly, a gang, and they'll stand behind that no matter how wrong or how bad the other police officers are being. And that needs to change. And maybe with some of the new technology with the worn body cams and technology that takes it out of their hands as far as turning it on and off, maybe that'll help. When they throw you to the ground, and the best thing you can do at that point is comply. You're not going to win the fight. Maybe you can win the fight in court, but it's not worth your life to try to fight them at that point. It's just crazy. We're actually moving along now a little bit. Just to remind everybody, we're out here on the west side of Indianapolis, heading to a free drive-through clinic for getting shots for your dogs. It's dogs only, no cats. Getting all your annual required by the state shots, and I think even some shots that aren't required by the state, parvo and some of the other stuff like that. So if you're willing to stand in line or sit in line in your car for a while, it's at Holmes, just south of Michigan Street. I said Washington earlier, it's Michigan Street. And here's something interesting. I'm going to turn the camera over here a little bit. Pull this out. I'm really not supposed to be handheld, but Sons of Silence Motorcycle Club headquarters. That's where we are, right there in front of them right now. They're it's not a gang, it's a club. Guys, if you're in the Sons of Silence Motorcycle Club, don't come out and shoot me, guys. I love the little portholes that they've got. You know, show that again. The front of their house has been really. Check out those little windows that are made that are basically like little portholes. Several years ago, the Outlaws had a pretty well fortified house, not real far from where I live now, and that thing it had armor around it on the inside of the walls. It was nuts. They took them down. And I believe there was even a tunnel out. So it's crazy. We as First Amendment auditors and as cop watchers, we definitely need to compliment the officers that are doing it right. I was watching Chuck Bronson live stream last night, and the cops really did well last night. And I think in large part he has made a huge difference in Lafayette. He live streams there all the time, and now he will give them grief when they're not doing right, but he will also compliment them when they are, and Freedom to Film from South Bend was with him, and they were both out there last night, and they did a great job, and the police by and large did a great job. I'll give you three quick stories. One was an 80-year-old guy had a flat tire driving. He was in a Chrysler Town and Country, and the way the spare tire is set up in those things, it's real hard to get to. They got it and helped him get that changed. It took a long time to figure out how to do it and everything, but they got it changed, and then they couldn't get the holder for the tire coiled back up, so they eventually, after like a couple hours, Chuck Bronson loaned him some side cutters, and they ended up cutting the cable in order so it wouldn't be dragging, and get that done. But the cops did a great job in helping him out, and helping this guy out. Another one, there was a guy that, I don't know if he was homeless or if he was just having a bad time, but he was outside, and Lieutenant on the street was there and talked to him, and they filmed that interaction for a while, but not close enough to really hear what was going on. So then Chuck talked to the guy afterwards, and the police officer wasn't hassling or anything, was just making sure he was okay, and doing it the right way, and that's a good thing. And then another incident, there was like a little fight that, hey, News New England, how you doing, Brian? But they were doing, there's some drunk people, and helped the guy carry some stuff away, and helped him get out of there, so it wouldn't be any more fighting, and no arrests were necessary. There was nobody injured, and nobody wanted to press charges. And the police officers handled the stuff well there last night in Lafayette. So I think Chuck Bronson's done a great job of helping the police learn to kind of think of those things when they're out there, because he's had some bad interactions with them too. So News New England, you're going live again tonight? You having the panel tonight? I'm assuming. Guys, tonight, when you, I think it's probably, about 10:30, News New England, you can tell us that. He has a panel. AFA, Accountability for All, is kind of taking over News New England's channel on Saturday nights. for a panel discussion, and it's the way Josh describes it for Accountability for All is it's a place for the auditors to kick their shoes off, put their feet up, and relax and kind of have a good time. They do some karaoke. I actually competed in the karaoke one time, but then I had to go to bed before the finals, and so I forfeited, and that allowed Josh to get back in. I don't know who actually won that one, but but yeah, be sure to subscribe to News New England. He just got monetized, and but yeah, they're doing. You guys are doing a great job. I love the panels that you got going on over there. I need 196 more subscribers so that I can get monetized, and also so I can go live using the YouTube app. I've been pretty stable right here because I'm using the Wi-Fi that's in my car, but I wouldn't trust this app trying to get out of the car and go anywhere. Because what happens with these third-party apps, any little dip in reception and they just cut you off, where the YouTube app will kind of hold it there, and then once you reconnect it brings you back up, and that's kind of important. Okay, yeah, Spot Check News needs 447. So hey, go to News New England tonight. 10:30. Come in later if you want. That's Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Savings Time, and join the panel. I'm sure. I'll speak for Brian. He is taking over on Saturday night anyway, so he doesn't get to make any decisions. But you can. I'm sure they'll let you in on the panel, and they've helped me. Just a couple weeks ago, I was at. I had less than 500 subscribers, and so in about a week's time, I jumped up about 300 subscribers, and then the growth has slowed down a little bit, but I'm still growing every day. I'm adding new subscribers and getting a lot of watch hours. So yeah, good. Sub to News New England. All right, so there you go. Yeah, we all need to stick together, and if we can all work to help get each of us up to the 1,000 subs mark, and then our content is going to get us our watch hours, and that'll get us monetized. But the most important thing is to be able, especially if we're doing cop watches, is to be able to live stream without worrying about whether or not our third-party app is going to cut us off. And that's good. Yeah, you're not done yet. All right. Yeah. How was the vacay there, News New England? So, yeah, power in numbers. That's right. Hey, Hillbilly Patriot, hadn't talked to you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. Yep. This can be a good community, especially when we get. Well, I'm not even going to go there with. Anyway, there was a channel that went down, and none of us are disappointed that it went down, and I'm not gonna give the person respect of mentioning the name of the channel. So it went down, and in large part because he was violating copyright rules, basically doing no original content himself, just taking everybody else's content. And there's channels that do this, but they do it right. Like San Joaquin, he is great. He is fantastic. That guy, he will feature somebody's video. He'll play part or sometimes even all of it, but he'll always credit the other channel and encourage people to go to them. And I know that, for example, Hoosier News Now, he helped put Hoosier News Now on the map, and that was great. It was a win-win situation. But this other channel, he was basically trolling everybody in the all the cop watchers and all the First Amendment auditors. He was strictly trolling them, saying really nasty things about them, making things up that weren't true, and so he's no longer around, which is a good thing. But there's a right way of using people's content, and there's a wrong way, and the guy who's no longer there, or I should say even the avatar is no longer there, but the people that do it right, I love the way San Joaquin does it. Rogue Nation boosted me early on, and I got a few hundred subscribers for it. I'm sure San Joaquin did something. I know News Now California does this a lot. I hate to even mention names because I'm afraid we'll forget somebody. Tulare County Transparency is another good one for that. These guys are great. We talked about News New England and their panel discussions. They are more relaxed, kick back, open discussion, very non-serious. It's anything but serious. I think the most serious thing that ever happened there was a week or so ago. I went into preacher mode and gave everybody the gospel of Jesus Christ, and I appreciate them letting me do that, even though there's people on that panel that totally disagreed with me on the importance of Jesus Christ and the gospel, and maybe don't even believe in God, but they gave me that forum and was able to do that. But it's typically a very non-serious group, and everybody's cutting up. And then there's Bolt Action News Group. They're usually much more serious. I love the guys at Bolt Action. You've got Rogue Nation, Rights Crispy. We've got News Now South Florida. I'm trying to remember the guy from Alabama that the Rogue Nation's been hanging out with. He's in there. I mean, Wolfie Gladley is often on the panel. Joe Cool. Joe Cool, he'll be on about any panel. That guy, he is Joe Cool. But you'll see some names. Big Nick. I don't know if I've ever seen him on Bolt Action, but I've seen the Bolt Action guys out there with him on the street down in South Florida. And he's one of the originals. So it's great to get to know some of these guys. They're different styles. We can have a complete disagreement over style and still respect the work that's being done and the good that's being done through the community. If somebody were to get to know me and somebody were to get to know Josh from Accountability for All, you'd think, wow, there's two guys that they're so different in their belief systems and their worldview and so on a lot of things that they would never be friends. But the fact is that I love Josh. I think he really he cares about me. He has shown me nothing but respect, and we certainly don't have the same tactics, but we can still both go out there and do good with our channels, and that's a cool thing. We can just show some respect, and we're here to fight for the First Amendment. So that part of that First Amendment is that you get to do things the way you want to, as long as you're not inciting a riot or something like that, or panic, shouting fire in the crowded movie theater, so to speak. And Josh doesn't do any of that, so it's all good. And we protect our own. You're absolutely right. Yeah, so come out and check News New England tonight. Check it out. Yeah, they call me Santa on News New England's forum in their forum discussion and panel discussions. I think on Rogue, or no, I'm sorry, on Hoosier News Now, when I've been in the background of some of his videos, some of his commenters, subscribers, they refer to me as Cripple Santa, which I kind of like that, Cripple Santa. That's pretty fun. Oh man. So we're still just, I've been on this live stream for 40 minutes. We were probably in line for close to an hour before it started. And we're still just slowly creeping up to get our dogs vaccinated for free, because that's how cheap we are. So we're just hanging out. Anybody have any questions? Any thoughts? Oh, bye, Father Santa. We'll see you, Brian. Talk to you tonight. I don't think Brian minds his name being out there. I normally try not to call people by their first names, but I know he doesn't mind, and Josh doesn't mind for Accountability for All. Some of the others, they don't want their names out there. Here comes a police car coming this way. We'll see him here in just a minute. Well, no, he's turning. A lot of people bailing out of this line. They've given up. Maybe that'll make the line go faster. So we're out here on the near west side of Indianapolis, trying to get to Michigan and Holmes for free annual shots for your dogs. If you are in Indianapolis and need to get shots for your dogs, they're going to be open till 4. I would recommend leaving early, leaving now, because my goodness, the line is long and it's going to take a little while to get here. So, we'll hang out and chit chat. In the meantime, trying to get that last 196 subscribers. So, if you like, share, and subscribe and help me get there, I really appreciate it. We do this for the subscribers and want to try to get things going here. I'm live streaming right now using the Prism app, but my issues have been when I've been out on the street, it's not worked out so well using the Prism app or any of the other apps. I've tried several of them and none of them have worked well, so I keep getting disconnected. This is the longest I've been able to stay connected, but I'm in my car and I get Wi-Fi on my car, so this is cool. So if you're just jumping into the conversation, go ahead and make a comment. Let me know who you are, and always trying to see who's out there. We're in this long line. We'd been in the line for almost an hour before I started this live stream, which is 43, almost 44 minutes ago, and we're still working our way up, trying to get closer to 456 Holmes Avenue. That's where everything's going to happen here. Our dogs are going to get needles stuck in them, mandated by the government. According to this, we're about 8 minutes away, and it's 4/10 of a mile. Google, that's a walking time. I guess.
Yeah, we're not even going that fast.
Yeah, we're not even going that fast. So about 20 or 30 minutes ago, it said that we were 10 minutes away. Our dogs are whimpering.
Oh, there's a dog out there.
Oh. I'm gonna I'm going to flop the camera around so this can. There's Mrs. News on the street, and there's Lizzie the Wonder Dog, the black one with her vest on, and she's my service dog, helps me with balance. And there's Obi, he's the affectionate one.
No, Obi, stop. Leave it.
Yeah. So he's always wanting to play with somebody or something, and he's got a tongue that he tries to stick it in one ear and out the other, and he's
an obsession with earwax.
Yes, he has a very strong obsession with earwax. If you clean your ears out with a Q-tip and you throw it in the trash can, he'll dig to get the Q-tip out. But that and his obsession with his licking. And Lizzie's quite the opposite. She hardly ever licks, and she's got a very short tongue and doesn't really try to lick very much. It's kind of funny. But both good dogs. Lizzie is a giant schnauzer, and Obi is a Dale and poodle. We got him as a puppy, and we got Lizzie. She was actually donated to us to train to be my service dog a couple years ago, but they're both actually the same age. They're born, I think, about a month apart, and they're about the same size. Lizzie's a little bit bigger, a lot stronger, but not near as stubborn. Well, in certain ways. But they're both great dogs. Obi was just not quite big enough to do the kind of work that I needed done. She's a good girl. Say hi, Lizzie. And Obi's getting his face up here wanting to say hi. Yeah, thank you. They are good looking pups. Yeah. Obi thinks he's going to take a drink out of my wife's straw. Oh man. So Hillbilly, what have you been up to lately? Thank you, Sandy. They are cute. They definitely are cute dogs. Cripple Sandy. Yeah, that's me. Thank you, Sandy. I love that. I love that moniker. I absolutely love that moniker. Yeah, in News New England, he calls me Father Santa, but I prefer the Cripple Santa. Oh man, it's amazing how long a person would be willing to wait in line to save a few bucks. That's how much of a tightwad I am. Yes, they are like our kids. We've got two wonderful kids too, and but yeah, these dogs they become part of the family, don't they? So I'm going to switch the screen back around to the traffic. Oh, there's somebody deciding to
another bail. Yay!
Yeah.
Bye.
Person bailing out. Yeah, he's like, okay, this is not going to happen. We're going to go a different route. Oh my goodness. So this is what you do to save a few bucks in this economy. Is you wait in a line for, you'll end up being probably 2.5 hours by the time count the time before I started the live stream and where we are now and everything and where we still have to go. It'll probably end up being a total of 2.5 hours. Hey, Hoosier News Now. I'm waiting in line for that dog thing I was telling you about last night. Oh, I forgot to send that to you. Oh crap. Hoosier News Now. It's at 456 Holmes, which is just south of Michigan on the west side. The line is incredible. I don't know if your pup needs shots right now or not, but if they're not due, I wouldn't bring them up here. But if they're due and you got the time to wait in line, bring them on up. And we've been in line. We were in line probably an hour before we started this live stream, and we're 50 minutes into the live stream now, and we still got a little ways to go. We're on Michigan at Gilbert, and we've got I think it's Gilbert, something. Oh, good. I can't read it. But yeah, we're about 3 to 4 tenths of a mile from Holmes, and it's just kind of sitting, stopping, waiting. Yeah, Hoosier News Now is a great channel. We've done some stuff. He's helped send some subs my way, and check out his work. He's got a couple of legal actions going right now with and help cause some reform at the state police level. Good thing, and done some good work. I met him because a friend of mine who is running for the state legislature happened to be in the post office when Hoosier News did a First Amendment audit, the Southport post office, and who's running for John Jacob is running for District 93. Very much pro-Constitution, strict constitutionalist. He was concerned by the way the postal workers and police were trying to, interrogate and shut down Hoosier News Now, and he kind of jumped into the middle of it and started live streaming on Facebook because he just doesn't stand for that kind of stuff. And I think that's the kind of legislature we need. We need people in the legislature that will pass laws that are constitutional laws and get rid of laws that are not constitutional laws, and that's what we need. And so if you're on the south side of Indianapolis, north side of Greenwood, if you're in District 93, consider John Jacob. Oh, we get somebody they decided to get out and do a walk.
Maybe the dog has to pee.
That's true too. But we're here with our 2 dogs, standing and waiting in this really long line. Although I think we're probably more than halfway through it at this point. I'm looking back in the rear view and how far we've come. Let me. Yeah. That's always an option too. Hey, Indy Observer. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to violate the law because we're not supposed to have the phone in our hands. But I'll just look in my rearview mirror to see how far back it goes. And hold this out here and see how long we got to go. But this is actually my wife and I's date. We don't get to spend as much time together as what we'd like here recently. So I've been busy, she's been busy, and she had some things cancel, and I had this, and so we would. Lizzie, you need to calm down, girl. Lizzie wants to go play with that dog that's in front of us, and that's her. I want to play.
They got two
Oh,
also.
They got 2 of them too. Yeah, beautiful silverback pits. Yeah, they're nice looking girls. That's nice looking girls.
Oh, Lizzie, step.
So, Lizzie, calm down, guys. So, Indy Observer, what you been up to lately? Yeah, it's. I'm surprised Leslie's not on here. She's almost always comes in when I'm on live stream. Of course, that's usually at night. So, Sylvan, she's a great supporter of the movement to hold the police accountable. So that's kind of exciting to start seeing some of the same names, different places. Yeah, Hillbilly Patriot. Yeah, the cheapest guy will be the winner. And free is a very good price. Yeah, how often do they do the free shots here? This is the first time I've ever heard of it. I've lived in Indianapolis most of my life. There was a short period of time where I was out of the state for a while, but most of my life I've been here, and I've had family here my whole life, and I've not heard of the free shots before. So I think this may be a new thing, but man, I think with the economy the way it is, people are willing to stand in line for a long time. Would have been better had I gotten up early and got down here an hour before they were going to get started, but I didn't. I was up late last night and had a lot of pain. Hurt my good knee. My knee on my good leg, my right leg, and last night. So I was in a lot of pain last night. So I did not get up and do this early like I should have. And so then found out my wife could go with me because she was planning on being somewhere else, but that got canceled, and so we decided to do another errand first on the way here, and got a little later start anyway, mainly because of me, and so I think this is going to be a long line until it's over. They're planning on stopping at 4 o'clock, then that's it. So what Indy Observer, what neighborhood are you in? I approximately. You don't have to get real specific, but what area, what side of town, what district or whatever are you in? Maybe we can connect sometime. I think, if I remember right, you're east side, I think, aren't you? Oh, Hallville, that's where we are right now, actually. Well, we're a little bit west of Hallville. We went through Hallville to get here. You know where Michigan and Holmes is, then, I'm sure. That's where we're headed. And there's, if you're only videoing when the police are active here, then you're videoing all the time. Because this is a pretty happening place for law enforcement. Yeah, it's a yeah. So you, Indy Observer, you just do cop watch, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? No 1A audits. This is kind of neither a cop watch or a 1A audit, unless the cops decide to do something in the middle of all this. I know that when we get up there's multiple police cars that when we went by it earlier coming the other direction to get in line,
Lizzie, stop.
We saw some
Lizzie,
well,
stop.
I like the word yet. That means that so they've been behaving not yet. So that means you're open to the idea sometime, or I'm sure Hoosier News Now would love to connect with you as well. And John Speedway, he's closer to your area. We need to get together and we need to do that. That's a great idea. Get a list started for next week. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea, Hoosier. And almost said your real name, and I won't do that. But yeah, that's a great idea. We should, we could do something kind of like what Bang does here in this area, and have kind of a local group. There's 2 police officers that passed us by here in the last minute. we have a little local group here, and we don't, whether we do a forum and thing that they do or not, we can do it, share ideas and resources, and do stuff together. There's safety in numbers. Sometimes, when you're out there all alone, I know you've experienced that yourself. Where you're out there by yourself, and it can get dicey. Like over at if you guys have not seen Hoosier News Now's video out, well, this first one at the prison in Pendleton, that one was a little dicey, but the one that was over the top here, it was here in Indianapolis, over at the Armory, National Guard Armory. Man, that was crazy. That was absolutely nuts. There's some police that ought not be in law enforcement over there. They were totally out of control, you're hearing this from a former cop who used to work with, back before it was IMPD, it was just IPD, Indianapolis Police Department, and I was on the department here, and I'm embarrassed to have been a part of the department that would allow that kind of activity to go on unchecked. And that was there was a sergeant involved in that. That was just crazy. It's what has happened to the department. The good guys have all retired. Guys I was on with back in the 80s are all retired and gone. And that's a shame. There were some good officers back in the day. If the food tastes better, do free vaccine, make the dogs even healthier. Yeah. It's okay, son. Yeah, but I don't know who all was watching. Who all was watching that one? So I'm not gonna mention your name. And I know that your issue is whether or not I can, whether we know each other personally, and I don't think you'd get mad at me like you, but I respect you too much to do that. Not like sissy boy or assassin or whatever he wants to call himself. The sissy boy that was on that panel the other night. He thinks that 9mm and 45s will bounce off of him if he's got a bigger gun. That guy was just over the top stupid, threatening to go in people's houses and all that. Oh my goodness. If you guys want to see some funny action, sometimes on the News New England, when the AFA takeovers on Saturday nights, they'll let some real kooks come in, and actually on the other nights too. News New England, he'll let just about anybody in on the panel, and now he'll shut them up when they're being stupid. And this one guy calls himself Assassin or something like that. They call him Sassy, but anyway, he's a total kook, and he just gets on there raging, and I find him kind of humorous, but he just rages about this, that, and the other, talks about how he's going to bust in people's doors, and he doesn't care about this, that, and the other, and he's just an idiot. Oh, wow, okay, I'll have to, yeah. I know he had you on that channel, but I don't know who did it on AFA's, but that guy was over the top of that job. So, well, we're getting down to the end here. We're getting close. And if I had started this when we started waiting in line, we'd have already been over 2 hours on this live stream. But I think we're probably closing in on it now. We've got to be getting close to homes at this point. Yeah, Indy Observer, you can probably recognize these places and tell us how close we are. This is your neck of the woods. This is your area. So again, if anybody is patient, if you're patient and you want free shots for your dogs, you can bring them out here. It's drive-through. You don't even have to get out of the car. They'll come out and stick them and give you the records, and you don't have to pay, and free is a very good price. So, yeah, check out. I know. Hoosier News Now has got some videos coming up that should be good. I know he's got follow-ups to up in Anderson that have still not been published yet. When he was up there with Accountability for All, you got that couple, the police officers that are dating each other that decided to beat up on some kid. It was caught on video, and that was just over the top nuts. If those guys still have a job, the guy and gal still have a job, man, that's just wrong. Neither one of them have a temperament for being in law enforcement. That was over the top bad. And I'm normally not quick to judge things off of a short clip, but that you got to see context. And what was interesting was, and Josh asked a very important question when interviewing the family, looking at the clip, and the mom said, he wasn't really even doing anything wrong. And the question that Josh had said, well, let's pretend for a minute that he had been doing things wrong earlier. The cops have him stopped. They've got handcuff on him. They've behind him. Even if he had done the worst possible thing, would it still have been wrong for the cop to do what he did? And the answer is yes. The police officer's job isn't to mete out punishment. It's to arrest the person, to bring him to punishment. Bring him for the judge and let the judge determine if there's going to be punishment. And then, that's the punishing is not the police officer's job. And that poor kid, he wasn't doing anything wrong, and just out of the blue, the police officer slammed him down from behind, and that was crazy. And this was right in the midst of all the stuff with George Floyd going on, and the guy still went and stuck his knee on his kid's neck. Yes, man, over the top. And if you watch Josh's channel, Accountability for All, you'll actually see him make a citizen's arrest, and they did actually charge the gal, and she worked for the city, and they did charge her. And Hoosier News Now could probably tell you more about that than me. But man, was there a conviction in that case, that arrest that Josh made? Yeah. Not only, yeah, power does what it wants. Yep. Yeah, I love that intro that Rogue Nation does now. The power does what it wants. Yep. The United States, we're a government of the people, for the people, by the people, and it's time that the people speak to those that we employ. As a Christian, the Scripture gives me guidance here, and you can look this up. Proverbs 31, verses 8 and 9, and it says to speak up for those who cannot speak. It says to judge righteously and to defend. It tells us that we're to defend the poor and the oppressed. And that's really what this First Amendment audit and cop watch community is all about. The poor and the oppressed. It's about speaking up for those who cannot speak. Okay, so not sure about the outcome of that arrest, but she was charged, did have a court date. Probably just a preliminary court date, I'm guessing, but the prosecution is going forward, which is a great thing. But yeah, that's our job. If you're a Christian, there's a biblical mandate to do that. There's a biblical mandate to speak out for the poor and the oppressed. There's a biblical mandate to speak out, to defend the poor and the oppressed, to judge righteously. And there's also a biblical mandate to speak out for those that cannot speak for themselves. Proverbs 31, verses 8 and 9. So, if you don't like hearing the Bible, you're probably not going to like my channel very much, because I do throw it out there. I'm not saying that I live perfectly according to Scripture. I strive to, and I'm sure I make mistakes, and I'm sure I've made mistakes on the videos. But I'm willing to acknowledge those mistakes, and I'm willing to, with the power of the Holy Spirit working in me, to strive to do better. And that's really what we should be doing. And the fact is that I'm in need of a Savior just like everybody else, and God has granted us an opportunity to be redeemed, instead of having to suffer the punishment for our sins, and that's through the sacrifice of Jesus Christ and what He did on the cross for us. The Bible tells us that if we declare Him as Lord and believe in His resurrection, we'll be saved. And He changes us from the inside out, and that's important stuff. And the meek shall inherit the kingdom. That's so true. And meek does not mean weak, by the way. Meek is power under control. It was actually used to describe horses that were in battle, that were powerful beasts that were under control. And that, so meekness is not weakness. That's a common misunderstanding. We're to be bold, though, also with the gospel of Jesus Christ. Every once in a while, you'll hear me break out into sermon form here. Yep, well, I can see. I'm going to take this out again, and we're looking like we're getting down to the end up there. You can just where that car coming the other way, the camper that's turning there up the street. I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to zoom in maybe. That's where we need to go. There's a bus up there at that intersection now. That's where we need to go. And I'm going to turn this around. Here, I'll just do this. Look all the way back there. That's how far back where we've come. We were around the corner from there, so it's absolutely crazy, but we're gonna make it. Hour and 14 minutes. I'm surprised we've held on that long. Yeah. Oh man. I'm gonna jump out of this live stream for now, and then when we get up there and the dogs actually are getting their shots, I may jump back on and start up a new live stream just to see if if anybody's interested in what's happening. But yeah, 456 Holmes. It's on Holmes, just south of Michigan. If you need shots for your pets and you're in the Indianapolis area and you're willing to wait a long time in line, it's free. It's not just rabies, it's a bunch of the other stuff too that they need on an annual basis. So I'm going to jump off here. Thank you guys so much. I'm sure this is going to help me boost my watch time. I do need to get a few more subs. I need it's less than 200 now to get to my 1,000 subs. So please check out my channel. You find a video you like, share it, subscribe, share my videos. If you're a channel that you want to feature one of my videos and credit me with it and send people my way, I don't mind. I'm all for it. Would love to have you do that. All right, guys, you have a wonderful day. That got me a whole lot of watch hours.